Hi, this is John Kraus with California Corks, and welcome to Zip Sips. I'd like to introduce you to a wine the wine grape that you might not be so familiar with. I'm introducing you to the 2010 Toucan Wines Old Vine 2010 Carignane. Now, Carignane is a black grape that's more frequently used in blending with grapes that you're probably more familiar with, like Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre. And when you produce a wine with these combination of grapes along with the Carignane, you come out with some really delightful wines, very enjoyable. However, there's a wonderful vineyard located in Contra Costa County, California, Evangelo Vineyards, and in that vineyard, Carignane grapes grow. And for some years, the winemaker Doug Timewell from Toucan Wines has traveled to that vineyard and harvested grapes there to produce his Toucan Carignane Old Vine. Now, he's produced some really outstanding wines with this particular grape, and really a lot of backbone. And when they're first produced, the tannins are quite high. But Evangelo Vineyards is the last vineyard that exists in Antioch. It's a part of the history of the area, so it is a special piece of history in Antioch in that the vines that were planted in Evangelo Vineyards were planted back in 1890. They're well established, and the fruit still feeds the current winemaking industry here in California. But let's get back to the wine itself that Doug produced back in 2010. It was crushed the same day as harvest, cold soaked on the must for 7 days, and the natural yeast eventually took hold. Slowly it fermented, and it was pressed and put into a combination of both Hungarian and French oak barrels, where it rested for about 22 months in the barrels itself. And then it was hand bottled, unfined, and unfiltered. So let me introduce you to the wine itself. Toucan Wines 2010 Carignane. What do we have in the glass with this wine? Well, thinking back, the last time I enjoyed this particular vintage was at least 5 years ago. In the glass, it was a beautiful, clear, ruby color, solid in appearance, and it still is from the core to the rim. It's no oxidations apparent at all on it. It's held up very nicely that way. Now, the first time I tasted Toucan's Carignane, it had a lot of backbone. The tannins were very, very present. I actually needed to wait several hours after opening the bottle to really start to enjoy it, where the tannins toned down or calmed down a little bit. Now the wine is 10 years old. It's mellowed, and I'm somewhat disappointed. But I'm not disappointed in the wine. It's more that I'm disappointed in simply how I pictured it would be 5 years later. You see, I still remembered the dark plum that was so present 5 years ago, and the strong presence of pepper that I enjoyed as well. Today, as a 10-year-old wine, it's still a delightful wine, but I was surprised that it's more cranberry and strawberry, both on the nose and on the palate. Also, I'm picking up hints of violet on the nose or on the bouquet as well. Now, this wine comes in at 16% alcohol, and I'm not usually a big fan of wines that are quite that high in alcohol. I like them a little lower than that if I can get them. However, after about 45 minutes, having opened the bottle, even let it sit in the glass, the alcohol tamed on the nose, and I'm able to pick up the bouquet nicely. The taste becomes very enjoyable. The wines become a lot more supple than when you first open the bottle. So give it a few minutes if you happen to come across one of these, although there aren't any to be had in the market. You'll have to have it on your shelf or in your wine cooler to be able to enjoy this particular bottle. But it matches up so nicely with like a meat lover's pizza for pairing. Think about beef or venison. Just about any way you bring it off the grill or braise it, grill it, it'll go very nicely. Now, I wanted to share this particular gem with you because Carignan is just not that common here in California. A lot of us aren't aware of it. But if you can get a chance to find some, let me know that you did, please, because I'm looking forward to trying others. In fact, Doug did one more vintage before he closed his winery. This 2011 Carignan he produced, and I'll be reviewing that in the next week or two. And also he has a really nice blend, a cuvee, that I'll be trying as well, and I'll be sharing the tasting notes with you on that. So until next time, this is John Krause with California Corks. We'll see you next time.